Just give me a reason to keep my heart beating. Don't worry, it's safe right here in my arms. As the world falls apart around us, all we can do is hold on, hold on.
What is up, guys? DT Ninja here to bring you my latest Itachi Shinden Hen. This is the anime adaptation. This is part 4. I call it We Are Brothers because we're talking about Shisui and Itachi in this episode. The last episode that was shown, it was, not last week, but 2 weeks ago. So that was Naruto Shippuden, episode 454. And that episode was really well done. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it because, we really got to see the bonding between Itachi and Shisui as, more than just friends, but brothers. And I really enjoyed that. It was almost like seeing, Sasuke and Itachi bonding. But in a way, he was older. So it's almost as if it's almost like if that was Sasuke at age 8, that would be Itachi with him. It's kind of like what would have been. So it really was interesting. So I really enjoyed it. But anyways, I really want to break it down for you guys and, explain what I enjoyed, what I thought could have been done better, as well as some scenes from the novel that I want to share. I'm not going to go too into it because I've done an entire timeline. I spent so many hours working on that timeline, and definitely check that out because that has every single significant event from Itachi Shinden Hen Komyo, the brightest future, or the bright future, from his first novel. So definitely check that out if you guys want to see more details. Yeah. So actually, it's not real detailed, but it's quite extensive. There's quite a bit things that happen throughout the novel. So like I said, I'm going to share a couple of things with you guys. Probably the Chunin exams for Itachi. Definitely, more things between Shisui and Itachi that I want to share with you, and one with Izumi as well. So let's get into the review. So starting off, we have Itachi and Fugaku, and we have the scene where Fugaku is just, feeding his fish, feeding the fish, almost as if nothing had happened to Itachi. He's talking to him, he's like, now that you have the Sharingan, you can't slack off, you have to aim even higher, I know you will be great, if you just work harder, you can't slack off. And this kind of shows Itachi being fake, okay? Because Itachi is like, yes, father, but then at the moment he turns around, you see him, grit his teeth. He's like, father, how could you say such a thing? It's like you can see the divide between father and son right there, that early. Okay, and that is really great, great to see, but it really captures the characters really well, and I liked how it showed that, because that is very important for their characters later on, especially the Moonlit Knight. Okay, so, like I said, he grits his teeth, and as he was recalling, the talk about the Sharingan, Itachi recalls losing his best friend, or I guess it's not his best friend, but it was his close friend. That was the guy who bullied him, and he came to know him as a friend, as a close friend. I wouldn't say it was his best friend, because Shisui is his best friend. But anyways, it was a close friend that he lost, a comrade. He was shocked, and the memory of it was just haunting him. Even though he has the Sharingan, it's almost like the Sharingan, every time it awakens, he sees the blood of Tenma, okay? Because that's what that memory is connected to when he awakened it, okay? So it was really great to see. That scene is quite shocking, especially when we see it, the full scene, because we only saw a glimpse of it in the previous episode. But this specific episode, we see the full scene where Obito just cuts right through him, and he's still holding the kunai, when he dies, and that was just wow. Wow, wow. You guys know what I'm talking about if you saw that scene. Anyways, okay, moving on. We get the scene where Sasuke wants, to play with Itachi. Play with me, big brother. And, this is where he's like, Yurusei Sasuke, mata kondana, and he taps his forehead. And then you see Shisui there, and Sasuke has this look on his face. He's like, and he's jealous of him because he's like, let me borrow your brothers for a little while. Let me borrow your brother for a little while. I'm gonna go off with him, and they go off to train. And this scene I really enjoyed. They did a really good job on this of the training exercise scene. So basically, Itachi leaves his home because he felt like, this divide between him and his father. And also, he wanted to get stronger, so obviously being around Shisui is going to help him, And he felt at ease around Shisui, and around his father he felt tense. And, around Sasuke he feels even more at ease. So it's kind of like Shisui and Sasuke are like relief for him, but his father is kind of like the opposite. It kind of makes him tense, especially around him, because he has to almost, fake it that, he's smiling around him. All that smiles is all fake, when he's saying, yes, father, you saw the scene where he grits his teeth. So, anyways, I really enjoyed the training between the two. They show the tracking, how to track an enemy, and he learns it from Shisui, who's obviously, Anbu level. So it's really great to see, Itachi learning from him. And then throughout we get the scene and the night fire. They're cooking the fish, and Itachi's like, "What kind of training is this?" And he's like, "Well, it's always good to share a warm meal, with someone, I can be at ease with." And I really like that because it's almost like they're bonding now, not just like best friends, but almost brothers. And I really like how it's showing their characters there. And they did a great job. And Shisui also said, I know exactly why you're here, You feel, tense around at home, So here you feel at ease, and that's why you want to be around me. So he could see right through him, and that's when he's like, you don't have to hide that from me, I know what you're feeling. Please share it with me. Anytime you're feeling it, don't hesitate, Think of me as your older brother, Sasuke's your younger brother, but I'm your older brother, So please share it with me, and we can do this together. Ending all conflict, this ambition of yours is not, just you alone. You can't do it by yourself. We're gonna do it together. Okay. So, and I like that. It's almost like Shisui's the shadow of Itachi. He'll always be there for him. And I just like that bonding between the two. It was done incredibly well. Okay, and then there's a fight scene. Okay, guys, there's this fight scene, and it shows, Anbu. Okay, Anbu attacking another Anbu. And apparently one of them is, a traitor. Okay, and, Shisui jumps in there, and he's like, where's your proof? How do we know if he's a traitor? He's a hidden leaf ninja. How can we attack him without knowing the truth first? And even Itachi realizes, we have to have evidence to, support this. And, it's really interesting to see the different perspectives. And then, we see Shisui say, I believe in the shinobi, the nameless shinobi who protects from the shadows. And so the Anbu are like, oh, so you agree with our thinking. And so He's like, you have it all wrong. You know, I'm talking about the Anbu, not the foundation which Danzo is under. So it's really interesting how he can, figure out what's going on and, relaying all this information. They think you're trying to relate to him, but actually not at all. And I just like how he presented himself. It was awesome. And then Itachi jumps in and he's like, I'm helping out. I can't just sit back, And so Shisui assumes this is a training exercise, but actually this is an assassination. So they get involved in this fight and it's freaking epic. We see Shisui, the teleporter, using all his techniques and, using a sword. It was just badass. I loved it. I loved it. So I'm going to share you some of the screenshots from this because this was freaking epic. Okay, take a look at some of these. All right, guys. So those were awesome. I loved it. I loved those scenes, and they were done so well. The action was top notch. Itachi fighting the woman Anbu, the female, the Kunoichi Anbu, that was freaking awesome. She underestimates him, and he has the Sharingan, he activates it, and she's like, oh my gosh, he has a Sharingan at this young age, and she's like throwing all these, shurikens, and there's all these wires everywhere, and he sees them all and he catches them all on his sword, and that was just awesome. And he's standing on it. It's similar to how Sasuke did something like that, but obviously he gets it from him. So, anyways, it was really great to see that, and he obviously defeats the Anbu ninja. All right, so the final scene shows Itachi and Shisui, and it's after the battle. Some Konoha ninjas come in, and they realize that this wasn't a training exercise, and they're wondering what's going on, and Shisui says, I thought it was a training exercise, but apparently it was assassination, and we just were protecting ourselves. I was here with Itachi, and I was just showing him some things. So Itachi's there, and he's kind of injured. So we see Shisui, covering his bandages up, bandaging him up, and then he carries him back. He carries him on his back to the compound. And I really love the scene. It shows that reflection of Itachi and Sasuke. When Sasuke witnesses Itachi doing his shuriken jutsu, and he tries to do it himself, and he injures himself, and Itachi walks him back home. So I really enjoyed that scene. Yeah. So, like you just saw, the scene shows them walking back, and the thing I like about it is the words they use. Okay, so the actual conversation they have. Shisui is like, if you ever have anything to tell me, please don't hesitate. Tell me. We're not just best friends. We're brothers. Think of me as your older brother. From now on, I am your older brother. I will never betray you, and I'll always be by your side. I'll always be there, and I just like how it's been shown in the anime. They've done a really good job. Okay, so moving on, the last scene in the anime obviously is him becoming Anbu, but however, if he's 8 years old and he's become an Anbu, you have 8, 9, 10, you're missing 2 or 3 years before he becomes Anbu. So we're missing a ton of material. So I am a little upset about that, but I understand they want to get back to, the story, the actual fight with Kaguya, so they're kind of hurrying, but I really wish they would have done more, the Chunin exams, more of it. They actually had another Anbu mission But anyways, this has been a great episode. I really enjoyed it. This is going to be some scenes that weren't shown that are only in the novel. Now, if you guys have checked out my timeline, like I explained before, then you might already know some of these. But these are going to be more in detail. So, okay, so one thing that happens, Shinko gives up being a ninja. Okay, she gives up being a ninja. Shinko is the kunoichi from Team 2, along with Tenma. So Tenma has died. He's the guy that died in front of Itachi's eyes. Shinko was the kunoichi. She gives up being a ninja after Tenma dies. Now, it's not because of his death. That is the catalyst, but it's not the main reason why she quits. That is explained later. Okay, so 2 new members join Team 2. So obviously she quits, and 2 new graduates from the academy join Team 2. And these 2 members are Yoji from the Aburame clan and Himuka. So Himuka is a kunoichi, so she replaces Shinko. Okay, now moving on, Itachi and Shisui train. They train, but it's a little later. It's like 6 or 4 months later, so it's not quite, the same time as the anime. Anyways, they discuss the Chunin exams, and this is very interesting because they also discuss about Izumi. They discuss about Izumi, and they're displaying their powers. Obviously, Itachi showing Suiton, or water jutsu, the water style, and Shisui showing the fire style. So it's really great seeing them, train. We didn't really see a lot of training between them like this, so that scene was more in the trailer. So if you guys saw, or actually that wasn't even in the trailer, that was kind of a picture they showed of a preview, but I don't know if they just left this episode out or what. But anyways, yeah, so that's what happens. Itachi takes the Chunin exams. Okay, so the higher-ups, say he can take the Chunin exams, and he takes the Chunin exams. Now, he's the first ninja ever to do it with no team. And he makes it to the second exam, is in the Forest of Death. You guys remember training ground number 44, the Forest of Death. He takes the scroll from an entire team, a Mist team, the Mist Ninjas team, and he makes it to the center in record time by himself. Okay, in the third exam, he fights in a tournament, right? Now, the first round, he doesn't even fight because his opponent gives up before they even begin. You guys remember the Chunin exams is really, nostalgic, right? You guys remember how Kankuro gave up on Shino and they have their battle later on? Well, this is similar to that, except there's no battle later on. He just gave up. He's like, hell no, I ain't gonna fight him. That guy's a genius, It's kind of like that. And so Tachi didn't even have to fight. And then the second round, or the final round, Itachi fights Nemui, who is a Kumogakure ninja, or from the Cloud Village ninja. And this guy can put people to sleep, similar to Genjutsu, kind of, kind of how Anbu, how in the Chunin exams, how they put people to sleep, and they're getting ready for the attack on Konoha. It's kind of like that. However, he does it with his own jutsu. It's not quite it's obviously not an Anbu level technique or anything like that. But anyways, he tries to put Itachi to sleep, but obviously he can't do it because he has the Sharingan. He activates his Sharingan. He puts him in a Genjutsu of his own. He freaks him out, He thinks he's dying, and he gives up. He gives up, so Itachi wins and becomes a Chunin. He becomes a Chunin. So I really wish they would have shown, just images. You don't even have to show the action. Just show the image of him winning at the tournament. Okay? But anyways, we can't have everything, right? Okay, so the next part is very important, and this is Izumi, where Itachi meets Izumi on a break. Okay, so maybe it's summer vacation. I'm not really sure if they even have. I guess they do have vacation, but it's kind of a break period for a ninja. Itachi meets up with her, and they go to a tea shop. Okay, they go to a tea shop, and Shinko is there. So you guys remember Shinko? I just explained she quit being a ninja, so now she's a civilian, and she's at a tea shop and she's working there. So she's, their waiter. They want something to eat and drink, and she's, you give the order to her. So that's how they meet each other again. Long time no see. I gave up being a ninja because of you, Itachi. So we learned this from her. So she gives up being a ninja because of Itachi. He was just so far ahead of her. She was discouraged. She also was, frightened after Tenma died. Tenma died. So it kind of gave her the reality of shinobi. So she kind of quit. And this really makes Itachi, happy. Not that she quit, but it's because, she doesn't have to suffer, as a ninja. She can have a normal life, as a civilian. So it makes him happy that his prowess, his skills are, helping people. She's actually happy now. So that is something to think about Itachi's character, in the long run, because he wants to end all conflict. So if he can, make others not suffer, that's good, right? All right, so this is a specific scene between Izumi and Itachi, and I'm going to share this with you guys. It's not long, but this is very important, and I really wish they showed this in the anime episode. And maybe, the episode itself, this episode was very good, so maybe they should have shown it in the next episode, but it wouldn't be the moonlit night. So it's skipping a lot of years. So that's why I'm sharing this with you guys. Okay, so Itachi is in the tea shop, and he's staring at Izumi, and he's serious. Okay, and he asks her a serious question. I have something to ask you. He turns to Izumi. Why do you want to be a shinobi? It's just out of the blue. He says, why do you want to be a shinobi? And she's like, eh? If you become a shinobi and you are brought to the battlefield, you will go through many painful experiences. A girl like you shouldn't have to go through an experience like that. It's because my father was also a shinobi. Only for that reason would you become a shinobi? It's not just that. I want to walk the same path of the person I admire most. Is it wrong I think like that? As she says those words, tears fall from her eyes. And basically, she's upset, right? Because Itachi is basically saying, I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to be a shinobi. And she wants to be alongside him, no matter what. So this upsets her, and she leaves. Now, we don't see her for a while. We don't see her until the next novel. Okay, let's move on. Itachi is recommended to the Anbu Black Ops. Okay, so this is like 6 months later. After becoming Chunin, he is recommended to be in the Anbu. So he has to take an exam to become an Anbu. Now, the exam is a mission, and it's to assassinate a leaf ninja. But this guy is said to be a traitor, and his name is Mukai. He's descended from the Hyuga clan, and I'm guessing they think he, is giving away his secrets, or giving away the clan's secrets, and this is why they're trying to track him down. So this is interesting because then Itachi and Shisui meet together. So because he's descended from the Hyuga, and also he's an Anbu level himself, Itachi can choose a partner. So he chooses Shisui. So then they meet up and discuss their mission. And while they're discussing the mission, they, talk about their dreams. So Shisui talks about uniting, the entire village. That is his dream, unification. And then we have, Itachi's dream, of being Hokage. So not only ending all conflict, but being Hokage. And that's really interesting because it's from Shisui's mouth that he says this. So it's very interesting. He not only knows what Itachi's dream is, but he supports him. So this is what Shisui says. He says, if it's you, you can definitely become Hokage. As the first Uchiha Hokage, you can become an existence which cut the roots of a quarreling fate between the clan and the village. That's what I truly believe. So this is at age 10. He believes Itachi will become a great Hokage. If he becomes Hokage, he will support him, and he believes he will cut the roots between the clan and the village. And obviously we know he ends up doing it anyway through Naruto, right? But anyways, that is what transpires there. And then a little later, Danzo gets in between Itachi and Shisui, okay? So they're supposed to have their mission, but Danzo goes in between them, okay? Somehow he gets one of the ninja on Mukai's team, right? Remember, he's a leaf ninja. He is out, okay? He's out of the team for some reason. I'm not sure if he's injured or what, but anyways, Danzo is responsible for it, and Itachi becomes a spy in their team. So he infiltrates Mukai's team as part of their team to discover Mukai's abilities. And Mukai is the descendant from the Hyuga. He's the guy that they're supposed to assassinate, right? And it's really interesting because Shisui is nearby. He's even, he's not on Team Mukai, but he's in the shadows nearby. He's an Anbu himself, so, he's nearby Itachi, basically watching over everything that's happening with Mukai's team. So, they have a mission to infiltrate, the Sand Village. There's an alliance between the Sand and the Mist Village, and one of their team members sets off an alarm, and the Sand Ninja come flocking to them. And this is where Mukai, reveals his Byakugan and does the Gentle Fist. So we see some of his abilities here. Well, Itachi sees them firsthand, and this is where he can relay the information back to the village. So anyways, that's kind of what happens later on before he becomes Anbu. And then at the very end of the novel, we have Fugaku, that's my boy. You'll go far in the ranks of Anbu. No question about it. Only 6 months after becoming Chunin, you've become Anbu. So that's the final scene from the novel. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Yeah, so